Around a month back, Google shocked everyone by basically confirming the handful of Pixel 4 leaks that had emerged up to that point. And we were all surprised to see the phone's back panel and dual camera module revealed officially in a single tweet. But now, with more than 2 months still to go before the Pixel 4 is officially launched, Google's going even further. The trickle of Pixel 4 information continues with the latest confirmation of wireless motion gestures thanks to Google's Project Soli. This was one of the rumours doing the rounds back in June, but for it to be explicitly confirmed, complete with a snazzy video trailer, is a huge deal. So what is Project Soli, and what's so important about having it in a phone? Well, Soli was first unveiled at Google I/O back in 2015. It's an innovative technology based on short-range radar. That's right, the same technology used by air traffic controllers and the military, only this time used to detect hand gestures at a distance. The difference between Project Soli and other gesture systems that use cameras like the LG G8 is that radar allows much more precise measurement. The video demo released by Google shows the most basic use case for the new technology, swiping through songs in a playlist, and Google's blog post says it'll also be possible to snooze alarms and silence phone calls with a gesture. When you're unlocking, Soli will activate the phone's face unlock features as you reach for the device. More of these features, which Google calls motion sense, are promised over time as the company updates its own apps. For sure, based on earlier Soli demos revealed 3 or 4 years ago, simple swipe gestures are just the tip of the iceberg for this technology. These new features are made possible by the array of sensors in the Pixel 4's sizable forehead, which was also confirmed by Google this week. Up top, your collection of components includes a standard front-facing camera and earpiece, as well as 2 cameras for face unlock, an iPhone-style dot projector, and that all-important Soli radar chip. The Soli chip itself is tiny, but when combined with everything else going on up there, it's clear the Pixel 4 is going to have an unusually large top bezel, much more so than the Pixel 3 XL, whose large cutout housed just an earpiece and 2 selfie cameras. And that actually brings me to another point of contention. Google seems to have abandoned the idea of dual front-facing cameras here, at least in the standard Pixel 4 model shown in this image. The wide-angle selfie camera was one of the Pixel 3 series' most unique assets, but with the return to a single front-facing camera, it's possible we'll lose this unique wide-angle selfie shooter. It is also possible Google might just include an upgraded wide-angle front camera, instead of relying on a digital crop of that camera for close selfies, like the Galaxy S10 for example, so we'll just have to wait and see there. And when we're talking about biometric authentication, it does seem like Google's going all in on face unlock here, so the rumours of the Pixel 4 having no fingerprint scanner at all seem to be accurate, which as someone who's got used to fingerprint over the past few years makes me a little nervous. Let's just hope that face unlock works as well as Google says it does. Soli, of course, is unique in the way it works, but not necessarily what it's trying to achieve. Earlier in the year, we saw LG attempting gesture controls in the LG G8, and way back in 2012, Sony tried something similar in the Xperia Solar. Even Samsung brought the ability to hover over certain stuff to expand previews to the Galaxy S4 back in 2013, although all of this was done just with a traditional capacitive touchscreen with the sensitivity ramped up. Project Soli is different and arguably much better because Google's short-range radar tech seems to be more precise at a distance. However, the battery cost is a big unknown, especially since Google has been historically stingy with the battery capacities in its Pixel phones. That's something we'll have to wait and see on once we get the full spec sheet. On the other hand, Soli is undoubtedly revolutionary and a real differentiator for Google, something which only Google can bring to a phone thanks to years of research and development. At the same time though, it arguably influences the design of the phone in a negative way. The Pixel 4 risks looking dated with its giant forehead and potentially regressing in terms of selfie performance compared to the Pixel 3 with its dual front cameras. It also remains to be seen how useful motion sense will be in non-Google apps, whether it'll be worth having that giant top bezel outside of 1 or 2 specific apps, or to put it another way, whether it'll be a gimmick or not. What also makes me a bit nervous is this, the fact that it'll only be available in select Pixel countries. Meaning in some countries, Google will be selling you a Pixel 4 with a Soli sensor that you can't use. The geographic restrictions are understandable because it's radar, it goes beyond the usual electromagnetic shenanigans you get from a standard smartphone. Nevertheless, Google is basically admitting up front that it's going to sell this phone in some countries where these gestures will not work. And even if you're lucky enough to buy a Pixel 4 in a country where Google has obtained the necessary paperwork for its radar gesture magic, it's going to suck to move across borders and potentially have those features disabled automatically because Google doesn't have local regulatory approval. And certainly, if you're a regular traveler and you find yourself in a country where Pixels aren't sold, chances are Project Soli will turn into a pumpkin before you've made it off the plane. And that's concerning because even in some countries where you'll be able to buy the Pixel 4, motion sense isn't guaranteed. So in essence, Google will be selling some customers the Soli chip with all the trade-offs that involves, even though it's potentially useless in their home country. Again, all of this is understandable because of the tricky regulatory issues involved, but it still seems to be a bit of a gamble for Google at a time where Pixel phone sales aren't particularly strong. But hey, there's still a couple months left before the Pixel 4 series goes on sale, and surely we'll get a more complete picture of this device between now and October. Stick with us for all of our future Pixel 4 coverage and subscribe so you don't miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.